everyone. I have not spoken to you all yet, but we're getting today's vlog just started right away. So thank you guys for tuning into last week's videos, that kind of slow, quiet ASMR punch needle video. I really like the way it turned out. Views are okay, but I don't really care about that too much. Being totally honest, I think I overthink them a lot. So I really like that video. It's great. If you haven't watched it already, make sure you go watch it. And last Friday's video, I finished up some punch needle items that I needed to get done, but my sewing portion of the video got corrupted. It wouldn't open. I don't know what happened, but I was so upset because it was quite a bit of footage, but then I realized it was just of me kind of chit-chatting and then cutting fabric, and that's all I was doing, which in hindsight, I didn't cut that much fabric. I cut a few panels off of one specific fabric type, but I probably shouldn't have done that right away because then I started pattern testing and seeing what I like. But I am making book sleeves, and so I cut up the Dumbo fabric that I showed last time so that I could give it a little test run. And this fabric is so cute, but I'm going to end up either keeping this for myself or I'll give it to my sister because it's definitely a tester, that's for sure. Learning how to sew with the interfacing and stuff, that was pretty simple, but I am still so new to sewing that sometimes sewing in a straight line is a little off, so this one's not bad at all, and you can definitely see which lines I did first versus which lines I did last, just by how they might be a little off or a little squiggly and then they get straighter as they go. But I was testing with, instead of quilting the entire sleeve, and I think I said book sleeves earlier, these are technically tablet book sleeves, and then also e-reader, you can put whatever you want in them, but I specifically wanted sleeves for my tablet, and I wanted something that was big enough for my tablet and a book to go in, because those are the two main things that I carry with me when I go anywhere. So I'm either playing a cozy game or something on my tablet, my iPad, or I am reading a book and I have a book with me, or I'm doing both. I have, my Bluetooth hooked up and headphones on, and I'm watching something on my tablet or listening to something because ADHD, and I will read while I'm listening to a video in the side, and sometimes it helps me focus better. Don't ask me how that works, but it does. So I wanted to make something big enough to bring both, and this, I have an iPad Air, a 2023, I believe it is, and this fits great with a little bit of room around it, but I was just kind of practicing around. So I cut the panels first, and I originally wanted to do the panels and just the basic kind of book tablet sleeve pattern that you see everywhere, which I'm not working off of anything. I'm just kind of bullshitting my way through this. I'm guessing. I'm figuring out how I can do it on my own, and then kind of writing down my own pattern as I go. But yeah, so I was playing around with doing just slight quilting on one side and then flat on the other. And I actually kind of like how that looks, so I think I might do that moving forward. The only thing that I messed up on was I don't want the top to be a tie bow top or a zipper top or a button. What I want is a flap, like a half circle flap, but then the half circle flap will have a tie. And I also messed up here too because I just realized I did not put the tie in the fabric. I have to figure out how I'm doing that, but I want it to be a tie so that it flaps over, and there's a little bow that you just tie at the front here, and so then it would be a little half circle closure, if that makes sense. Only because, like I said, I'm holding my iPad, maybe a couple of highlighters and a book or something of that sort in here. And so I don't want just a tie and then you to be able to flip, or if it's in your bag wrong, your markers go everywhere or your pencils go everywhere. So yeah, I am very happy with this though so far. I think it looks really cute. I love this interfacing that I picked out. So everything that I'm using is Pellon, and I originally bought this Pellon, which is what I'm using for my key fobs. This is the Pellon 40 midweight stabilizer, and I think the first time I was at Joann's picking out some of this fabric, I bought a sample of this, and I didn't know what I was going to do yet. That was kind of the problem, was I bought just a little bit. I didn't buy a lot. I think I bought a yard. But it's so thin, and I will show you because I have cut pieces here. But for some reason in my brain, I forgot that like I knew I wanted to make something that was a little puffier, a little quilter, a little puffier that would work well for quilting. But this is the 40 stabilizer. It's really, really thin, but it's like, it's tough. It's got a little bit of give to it. And this just helps with structure, but it's not going to give you like that quilted feel. So I like that these are in the key fobs. I think those are perfect for key fobs. But then for the actual stabilizer, I was just trying to Google what to use, and I almost bought the, what is that, like the fill, oh, the really, really plush one. I've seen so many people use it, and I wanted something super plush, super like puffy batting at first, and then I changed my mind again. So I was originally looking for like a really thick batting to go through, but then I saw this Pelon Thermolam Plus. This is TP970, and it is needle punched polyester batting or fleece, heavyweight. It just adds softness and loft. It says to home decorating, craft, and apparel projects. So I liked that this one is just a little stiffer. I think that's the best word I can go for. I didn't want it to be so soft that there's no structure, but I wanted it to have enough padding to where you can fit it in anything, and you're not going to have to worry about it being like too puffy for something or whatever. But it is protective enough, like, but still thin, if that makes sense. So I am obsessed with this. I think it's really nice. But as you can see, this is my first sewing. I don't know why something compelled me to, I wasn't quilting the backside, but something was like, sew around the square first and then sew it together. So I was left with like open seams here, which, like I said, this is why this is going to be either mine or like I'm going to give it to my sister or something. It just, yeah. So I need to practice. But since I messed up the way that I cut out this fabric, I'm just going to use a couple of the other pieces of fabric that I cut out that weren't the best either to try to just kind of practice making a U shape. And then I know moving forward how I need to cut my fabric, and I've been writing everything down as I go so that I can make it a flap and get it there. And then I still need to practice with how in the world I'm going to sew down the fabric for the ties. Or how I want to do that. So I have to look up, because I know the top tie will be easy to incorporate in, but I don't know how to incorporate in the bottom tie, like the one that will be on this part without it looking like weird here. I don't know. We'll guess, but while I am figuring this out, I'm going to take a moment and pause. And then we also have some white fabric, because I printed off on the transfer paper, and I'll show you guys that whole process in a second, for labels that I'm making. I think I told you guys in an earlier video, XOXO Charlie, if you don't follow her here on YouTube, she's wonderful and makes beautiful, beautiful products, hand-sewn products, hand-sewn items. They're gorgeous. And she has a tutorial on her channel of how she makes her sewing labels, and she makes them from home. She doesn't order them in from anybody, and so I looked at the cost and everything else and decided that I wanted to make them at home as well. For right now, I think that would be perfect, and I don't really have or need to spend the money on things if I can just do it myself. So I already printed those off on the transfer paper, and so I have the plain white fabric, and we're going to test and see how they transfer over, how they look, because they are colored on white fabric. And so I think it would be really cute if I can get them right. And then I just have to practice sewing on a label properly, because maybe that will hide the fabric here that I want for the tie or something of that sort. I don't know, but I am very excited, and yeah, let's just go ahead and get back into it, continue sewing, continue experimenting, and I will talk to you all in a little bit. everyone, so back to where we left off. I think we finished on Friday when I was just practicing sewing a bunch. That's all I've really been doing with my sewing machine is practicing and just kind of getting things together so that I feel good when I start to make product. But in doing so, I've been procrastinating, and now we are 1 week out from the market. So yeah, we have a lot of sewing and a lot of things that we have to do in the next week, but let me show you where I ended off last time. I got a little frustrated because it took me a while and I kept messing things up, but this is what I made first. This one's gonna just be like, for me, it's got a lot of really like messed up like sewing lines on it and lines that weren't supposed to be there, and like the inner lining is too big, so it kind of folds weird like at the sides, and just it's not the most like well constructed thing because I was practicing just a bunch with it, and then also like me trying to learn how to do like these flaps, and my flaps kind of uneven like on this side versus this side, and it was just kind of a mess. But like I said, the reason that it ended up being like this was because I pre-cut the other day with a plan in my head, and I need to not do that. I need to wait until I figure out what the actual plan is going to be, and then I can move forward from there. But I literally did none of that. I just got so excited, so ready to get going. I started just like cutting things while I was sitting here, only on this fabric though. And yeah, that was it. So I was trying to practice like quilting and making this a little like a a diagonal quilting, and then this side I just didn't do it because I just wanted to kind of see the difference, see how I felt with like this pattern without quilting, with quilting, like with the batting, everything. But it does fit my iPad because that is what I wanted to make these for. I said it before, I think, and if not, I'll say it again really quick, but I bring my tablet and like a book or something everywhere, so it's like perfect, it fits in there. And you still have space where if you wanted to put a book or something in the front here, it will also fit. Like, it's plenty of room in here. And then I'm going to put the snap button closure on. I was originally going to do like a tie or something and realized that it's a little, I don't know. I don't want to do fabric ties. Don't ask me why. Also, if I seem jittery, I just took too many puffs of my inhaler. I have asthma. It's been really bad, hence why in all of my videos, sometimes some videos have a lot of rough cuts and sometimes they don't. Depends on how my breathing is that day. With it being summer and spring, and I live in Florida, so sunny weather pretty much all the time and I love it, but the spring into summer phase is the worst for me. I have not been able to breathe out of my nose for weeks, so I have just been a very heavy mouth breather, and it is bothering me. So when I go to edit videos, sometimes all I get is like a deep breath on there, and so I'm just like cut, trying to make it as smooth as possible. But I took way too many puffs this morning. I could feel it was super closed up, super clogged off, so I took like 6, and I probably should have taken like 2 or 3 to start. So yeah, I'm a little jittery, but I just ate a little something and had a drink, so we're good to go. But yeah, I think this turned out cute though. I do still need to practice putting the button on it, so I'm going to do that on this and just see how it works. And like I said, this is going to be my first one, and just something for me to throw things into if I need to. I do really like the interfacing that I bought though, because it still gives everything structure, but also it makes it super easy to like fold and like carry around. So if you do need to like store it somewhere, you want to bring it with you, and then you take it out when you go shopping or something, you put your books in it. Like, I just think it's really cute, and it's really soft. This fabric is great, but I'm a big fan. So before I try to put the button in, let me just go through what we have to do today. Guys, I'm all over the place. Can you tell? So I have a list of things that I wrote for myself to make, and then my to-dos for the next like week or so. So I need to finish my car coaster designs that are in Canva so that I can print them off and trace them out and try to finish at least 1 or 2 boards before the first market. I need to make my labels for my products. That's what we're going to do actually first, and I'll go over that in a moment. Pattern test book sleeves, I already did that, so now I need to just refine it so that I can start actually making like the product to sell. Plan my content, videos, market setup prep, and then continue to add listings. So I get really overwhelmed with the adding of listings to Etsy. They take a long time. It's just a lot to do. And so everything that was on the site has been updated. I have a bunch of listings saved in the drafts that aren't fully finished yet. They just need a few more things, some tags, things like that. So I'm going to go through and do all of those and then hit post on all of them so that those will all be up today. And then that way I can take some more product photos as well, probably later in the week or something like that, and try to start putting up some of the other listings, even if it's just one or so kind of generic listings for like my keychains or something like that. I can put them up and those can be seen. So yeah, let's go ahead and just get started for today, and I will see you guys in a minute. You want to know something that's really funny? So I recorded that whole part and then just realized that my microphone was not even on. It was just sitting on me the whole time. So if you hear the sound difference now, that's why. So all right, let's just get started. Okay, everyone, so while my iron is heating up down here, I wanted to just tell you guys a little bit about the labels and how I'm testing this for the first time of how to make your own labels. So I think I said in either the last video or the video before that that I am using XOXO Charlie's video on how she makes her labels by hand. And I've watched a lot of people do like transfer labels, things like that. But I really like the way that her labels come out and the way that they look. So I wanted to try the transfer paper that she recommended. And this is the Trans Our Dream True Heat Transfer Paper Light Fabric Inkjet Printer. I got it off of Amazon. I think it was... I actually don't know how much it is, but I'll put it in the description down below. I want to say it was like $8 or $9, and you get, I think is it 15 sheets or something? I don't know. It doesn't say it on the outside. 15, I believe. So not terrible. Most transfer sheets you only get a few, but it comes with transfer paper, of course, and it's got instructions in here and everything. And I actually need to get out one of the, what are these called? Why is my brain going insane? The like Teflon paper that you use to transfer it. So I need to take out one of those sheets because they have it. But yeah, it has the instructions on here, it has the papers, and so all you do is go on and you design your logo or label, whatever it is that you want it to look like, and then you flip it, because for this transfer paper, once you peel it off, you're putting it face down, and then you want to make sure that like the transfer is going to come off properly, or face up is what I should say. So you want to make sure the transfer comes out the way that it's supposed to. So yeah, we printed it off. I flipped it. It printed off this way, and then once I am ready on my white fabric, I will sew it. I know that colors can be a little weird with transfers, so for one sheet, I just wanted to test it. What I probably should have done, to be totally honest, is split the sheet in half and do colored and regular, but I didn't want to. Like, if I didn't like it, then I just have a bunch. But yeah, so I have this colored one because I really think the colored logo just is cute and neat. And I'm going to cut around the outside first, like all the black line, just so there's not as much excess here. And then once I cut around the black line part of it, then I will go ahead and I will press the transfer onto my white fabric that I have over here. And then I'm going to cut this piece of like the Teflon paper that you use to heat press with. I'm going to cut that so that I don't waste that entire piece for one piece of paper. So let me grab my scissors really quick and move you guys down. Ooh, I am so shaky. Inhaler. Terrible. Should not have done that. Or, well, should have done that. Saved my life, but also should not have done as much. I'm notorious for that. It's really bad. Okay. There's the transfer paper, and I'll put this one back in here. Yeah, I thought this paper was interesting because you print it on the blank side, but then when you peel it off and you push it down onto the transfer paper, you're putting it down with the printed side up, not down. And that kind of caught me off guard because everything that I've ever used, you've printed down. So I know that probably sounds really strange, but it just was weird. It caught me off guard. But yeah, these little Teflon sheets, you can reuse them. So, okay. So that's there, and I think I might actually pull out my guillotine cutter really quick because I am so shaky today that I don't want to like get these all over the place. So let me just sit that there and grab the guillotine cutter. You haven't been out in a while. So now I have these cut out. I think I messed up a little at the bottom, but that's okay. They're all gonna get cut out more so I can transfer it. Now let me put my guillotine cutter back. It takes up too much space. Let's get rid of this and let's grab my white fabric, which is in a pile here. My cat is out, or cat. My dog is outside barking at everybody that walks past. So if you hear that, that is Daisy. She's just like that. Hold this. I'm trying to think of how I want to cut this. Should I cut it open more? Maybe. Maybe. Oh, I already cut from this side. I forgot. This was my tester fabric that I was using, so. Okay, yeah, we'll cut that piece off because that looks fine. Yeah, we're gonna cut that off fully. So let me grab just a ruler, something. I did buy a larger ruler when I went to the store because I realized my little short ruler was not cutting it, literally. Okay. So we'll put the rest of this white fabric back, and then with this white fabric, I do need to cut off a bit, so let me actually do this instead. Man, that is a rough little piece there, huh, on the edge. We're gonna just do a quick rough of this little thin edge that's bothering me. Makes it so hard to work with. Alright. And then we're gonna do a little Alright, so now we have our separate pieces that we can take out. And I'm going to iron this first before I go through and iron the transfer down because that is important. Make sure you're ironing out your fabric, mostly because, I mean, you can totally sew on like a wrinkled fabric, but you're not going to get the full look and the effect until after. So just iron it out a little bit. It'll be great. It'll look great. It'll make you feel better about the way that you have you know, your designs done and things, and it just looks nicer. So try to get as many wrinkles out of this as possible. And make sure I read the instructions first just to go through. So it says prepare your inkjet printer, scissors, cutting machine, all of that stuff. Print it onto your design, and it says the paper type that you can use for like HP, Epson, other brands, like in the paper quality that you want to do it on. And then after printing, please allow the paper to dry. And I printed these a few days ago, so we're set. Cut and peel. So you can cut it out with scissors or a cutting machine. So if you wanted to use a Cricut Explorer, or Silhouette, I like that. It has the options there. Let me turn on this side light. I know I have natural light going right now, but sometimes this little light will give us just the tiniest bit of brightness that we need. Yeah, that did it. So yeah, it's got the cut settings and everything you would need to put on. And then it says peel off the design from the backing logo paper, and then place your t-shirt or whatever it is on a solid surface using your ironing tool to smooth out the creases on the t-shirt. Place your design facing upward on the appropriate position, and then cover your design with Teflon paper and transfer. So I already cut this, but let's see if we can get this. So like you can see the back has a logo on it, and then the front is what I printed. We're going to peel this. Yep, there we go. And it's very thin, so very, very careful. Take this and put it here on my sheet. I'm gonna put the Teflon transfer paper on top. All right, and then let's go ahead and iron this on. Apparently did not want the steam on, and I still have the steam on, so. Okay, so that is now done. I think they turned out okay. I don't know. I'm just a perfectionist too. I think once I cut off the rest of the black, they'll look a little better. And then some of them underneath, there was like some like fabric, like fuzz or something that got caught. So under a few of them, you can see because it's a white fabric, it was dark. And I don't know if that was from the time I literally like lifted it off the page and put it there. I can't remember how I stuck it, but I did not, those weren't on there when I looked before, but they were now. So a few of these I'm not going to use, but I am going to just cut this out the rest of the way. It seems pretty decent so far. It doesn't seem like anything too crazy. It seems like it transferred just fine. With using an iron, there are different settings that it tells you have to use, and then it tells you how much pressure to put on, how much to not put on, things of that sort. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut this, and we'll see how I feel about it once they're all cut and they're in a little pile. I want to get my smaller ruler for it though, just so I can really add up the lines. And let me move you down here. You're gonna see my iron because it's on and it's hot. But yeah, it's not terrible at all, like at all. I think it just caught me off guard a little bit, like how those little things got caught under there. It bothered me. Already feeling so much better like this way. I will say, I don't think I left myself enough space for these. I think I need to make the logo a little smaller and the boxes a little bigger. I might also just start printing these off without the black border. I did it just because I was following exactly kind of how her video went, but she also uses black, like it's just a completely black logo. That's her name. So I think too, if like a black gets left over, it's not going to look as off as it does with me because it's color. It's really not bad. It's not terrible at all. I actually think they're very nice. I just have to get used to the cutting of this all and see how I feel. Like with the black, without it, everything else. Because I originally was going to cut these out in circles and just have my little circle. If I do that, I think I need to buy like iron-on fabric. But then I'm like, can you iron a transfer onto iron-on fabric without the fabric being ironed? Does that make sense? If anybody just understood what my thought process was right there, I'm sorry, because I don't. That is how my brain works. But I'm like, can you iron on something onto iron-on fabric? Don't know. Don't know, but we'll see. My dog, like, never, ever gets bored of just, like, barking like crazy at everybody in existence. I know some of our poor neighbors and stuff, when they just walk past, they're just going to their car, just growling at everybody. I'm also going to have my headphones on a lot in this video today because I focus better that way. Ever since I was just recently introduced to the world of noise-canceling headphones, I've literally never done that before. Don't know why it's taken me so long to literally buy a pair of noise-canceling headphones, but I bought these. Actually, really funny story. So I bought these JLab ones that I saw all over TikTok, things like that. I ordered a pair, not this pair. They're like mauve, and they match I ordered in a bundle. So it's mauve, and then it also came with the little wireless like earbuds too to put in, and I was like, cool, I need headphones. I'm not a name brand person. I don't really care as long as they work well, and I don't want to shell out money for expensive headphones and stuff. So the deal that I got these on was this set of headphones in mauve, which is in my purse out there, and then the set of the smaller in-ear buds, which is also in my purse out there, for $64 or something like that in a bundle. And I was like, oh my god, that's so great. Then about a week later, I was walking around my Walmart, and these exact headphones were on clearance at Walmart for $5. And I thought it was a joke, and then I went up, brought them to self-checkout, and they sure were $5. So now I have a pair that I leave in here at my desk, and then I have an over-ear pair that I use when I go to the gym, and then I have the in-ear ones that I put in my bag. So look at the clearance section, people. There's always something interesting going on. But yeah, I thought that was fun. But now that I have literally been introduced to noise-canceling headphones, there's no going back, and I don't know why I never ever used noise-canceling headphones before, because they are a game changer. But I, especially with my ADHD, cannot focus sometimes, and I get really, like, spacey. I am in my head. I'm thinking about 8,000 different things. I am planning 9,000 different projects. And so sometimes I just need to zone out. Also when I'm overstimulated, because having a child and also just a husband can be overstimulating. So sometimes I just need to take a break, and noise canceling headphones, man, saves my life some days. Okay, and then I will cut the rest of these just probably by hand because I can do that really quick, but they're not terrible. Those look really cute. I like keep going back and forth between like fabric scissors, regular scissors, every other type of scissor possible. So bad. Maybe I should cut it that way, but like this would be a label. I don't know if you guys can see. Goodness gracious, I'm terrible with this, but a label. Let's move you so you can actually have light. Okay, there you go. So that's the little label. I think it's cute. I think I need more space around it because I'm trying to envision myself now. I think I need more space because I'm trying to envision myself like putting a label on something somewhere, and because it has to be sewn, like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We're gonna see how I feel about these, but they feel really nice. They feel really good and tough, and so that's it. I'm gonna cut all these out and put the ones that I'm gonna use, even if I'm just using them to test sew, in one side, and then put the ones that are good and save those in another side on a pile. And then I am going to pull up my, actually have it up here now, on my iPad. I have the pattern that I have for the laptop sleeve. I went on a deep dive to find some sort of pattern to show me how to make the sleeve that I want with a round bottom. It took me forever because nobody makes them with a round bottom, or if they do make them with a round bottom, there's no patterns for them. And so I was trying to figure out what to do. Found a pattern, so we're going to test that one out today. Hopefully that works. Because if that one works, then we can officially start making all of this product for the market. And I want to really just start cutting like crazy, start sewing like crazy, and really just get a nice amount of things made today. So let's stop talking and go ahead and get started. It's been a while since the last clip. Today ended up just being a mom day, and parenting is hard. We were just kind of having a meltdown today. We were good, but he was definitely a bit overstimulated today and just kind of needed to take a break. He didn't nap today, so he was just kind of all over the place, and then he fell asleep at like 8 o'clock, which sounds beautiful, but without a nap, 8 o'clock means he'll sleep for maybe an hour. If he doesn't take a nap throughout the day, his nap translates to whenever he falls asleep at the end of the night, and then he's up for at least like an hour or so before you can get him to go back to bed again. So we've been up. It is 11:23 now, I believe, so almost 11:30, and yeah, I didn't do anything. I literally started sitting here. I was going to measure out and he was screaming, so I paused everything. You know, mom comes first, so I need to go out, kind of assist. My husband can totally handle everything, and he didn't ask me at all to come out and assist, but I can tell when he's going to be a lot, so it just kind of ended up being a little bit more of a I needed to be out there to help and assist day because it can be a lot. Now that I'm back, I guess I'll show you a little bit about what I have been doing before I sit down. He was just out here running around with me, and I just got him to go into his bed. So when he's here, I can't do anything sewing or anything with the fabric because he wants to help, and I love that he is in the help phase, and I love that he's in the like I want to do it with you phase, but it's like it's an angry help if he doesn't get to do everything that he wants to do. I didn't do anything with the fabric yet, but I'm excited to get started. I started doing a couple of things while I was sitting here. One, I'm an idiot. You probably won't be able to see this because it's like cream on here. Probably not at all. I'm sitting here trying to cut a perfect semicircle and realize I have a cutting machine. I literally have a cutting machine that can do it for me. I don't know why I didn't think of that and why I was making this so complicated on myself all day. I'm gonna go in because this one I just realized it's a little too small, so I'm gonna maybe turn it sideways like this way and print it off, but I'm printing it off in like a cream just so my cutting machine can kind of see what needs to be there. But I'm going to make this semicircle and print that off. And then one sheet of paper is about the size that fits a laptop, or not a laptop. I keep saying laptop, my tablet in it. And so I'm going to use that as like a little pattern marker for me. I am horrible at just like rushing to get things done. And by rushing, I am messing up fabric. And I saw a post the other day that said like, it's your stuff, it's your product, like you bought it, you can do whatever you want with it. Like if you quote unquote waste fabric testing something, like that's okay because you bought it and you paid for it and you can do what you want with it. I think sometimes I just forget that like I have to practice. So I got in my head a little bit. I also, I feel like every time I start a vlog, Aunt Flo is back in. I feel like she just left, but it has been like 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. So she's right on time. So yeah, I'm just going to sit here and probably get a few more things done on the computer. I got really into it. I'm starting to, I know it's market prep, but I'm starting to revamp a little bit of everything. I get a lot of plans in my head at night, so I start writing things down. I started testing out changing one thumbnail, and I'm going to go through and kind of adjust all my thumbnails to be more cohesive and something that I like a little bit better, and see if maybe that makes me feel better about the way that they are created and things like that. So I'm going to give myself like 20-ish minutes or so to just finish what I was doing on the computer. I was watching a video, and then I am just going to get into trying to create this bag, and I will come back to you all once I have sewn up the bag, check in, and let you know how it goes. So I'm just going to prop you guys up, and you guys can just watch in the background while I create the actual product. Hey everyone, it's Tuesday now. I am sitting in my car, about to take my son to the park. You can see him in the mirror. He is passed out. He fell asleep as soon as we left the house, but I'm trying to get us out, get some fresh air, walk around. The kids are still in school right now, so it's perfect time for him to come play. He really is. We're working on, a lot of socialization and things like that, of course, but him being on the spectrum, he really does not like to be around too many other kids, especially when they want to play with him too. And I know that it's something that like he'll get better at slowly over time, but right now he's just way more comfortable when we end up being by ourselves. And if kids show up, of course, then yeah, he'll go, but he normally is ready to do his own thing at that point. But it's my husband's day, so he's at the house. It got a little bit of a later start just today with him in general. We just had a lot going on this morning. And then also I had a picture that I had on the wall just fall off. And at first I was surprised that it fell off, but then I realized it's been hanging on the wall with the same command strips for 6 years. So it's about time that those command strips fell off the wall. But it was glass, so unfortunately that broke. And so I was cleaning that up this morning, and then I printed out and laminated and cut out the templates for the car coasters that I'm going to be making. And so after he wakes up from his nap and we play around for a little bit and things like that, when we head back to the house, I'm probably going to spend the rest of tonight punch needling and making some more like making some more wristlets for phone charms. I kept one for me, the one that you guys saw me make in the last video. Probably can't see it, but I decided to keep that one for me. I really liked it. And so I'm going to just continue with more market prep, and then I will most likely see you all again in the morning, unless I start doing something late tonight. And if I do anything really late tonight, it's just going to be me continuing with these listings that I have, so I can get everything up on Etsy and have everything syncing properly and square. And even if I don't get it on Etsy, I at least need to make sure it's up in square so that I can see everything that I have, see what was sold, and make sure those are all taken care of. So yeah, I'm going to probably sit here and let him sleep for a little bit longer, and then I'll go ahead and take him out and play. And like I said, you guys will see either a montage of me doing things throughout the day or when I'm back at home, but I will talk to you all in the morning. Hey everyone, welcome back again. It is now Wednesday, and I think I spoke to you guys a little bit in the car yesterday. I'm getting a later start today. That's okay. Trying to not even think about it or talk about it too much because I am working on telling myself that it doesn't really matter what time of the day I'm starting as long as I get things done that I want to. So, yeah, a later start today. Just my son having a little bit of a rough morning this morning, and that's okay. Perfectly fine. We all have our off days, and that's 1000% allowed. I am taping together right now a, I printed off to make a pattern for the book sleeves after the first book sleeve, which if I didn't show you, hold on, let me show you really quick. I think I did, but just I'm pretty sure I did, but just to show you again. So this is the book sleeve that I made originally. And this was just kind of a tester and a practice in sewing in general. So I put a button closure on it, which I like the button closure. I think it's nice because these are meant to be like tablet sleeves, but they're wide enough to where you can also put like a book in there or a pad and paper or anything else that you need. I was struggling really hard with this and I made it like a little uneven, and I was practicing whether I wanted the front to be quilted versus not quilted with the pattern, and so the back is not quilted, and I just was sewing too many times, like way too many times than what's needed. And it was just because I was kind of winging it. I probably shouldn't wing things that often because it really just left this with like so many awkward sewing lines. And then I wasn't measuring properly. So some of it was shorter than the other. And then I had to go back in and sew it again because like when I opened this, there was still interfacing showing and it was kind of a mess. But I don't care about that for me. So for this, I'm going to keep it for myself because I just think this fabric is really cute and I don't really care if it's a little messed up. I'm going to go in and I'm going to like hand sew like the side here for myself just to make my feel a little better about it, and that way it'll be fully in and enclosed, and that's not a big deal to me. So this is my own little personal one now that I like and I'm enjoying and I think it's really nice. But let me put this tape down because I'm just holding it on my finger like that. But I was struggling. I'm trying to make like a perfect half circle. I'm trying to get all of this stuff on there so I can make it the way that I want. And then all of a sudden I just had the revelation that I am making things so much more complicated on myself because I'm not planning it. I found a video online as well that helped guide me a little bit more in what it was that I was looking for. I didn't realize how hard it would be to find a pattern for like a book sleeve with a semicircle top. This is a little big. I'm actually trying to cut it this way. Again, me making things harder on myself. But yeah, I didn't realize how hard it would be to find a book sleeve that had a semicircle like top. I guess they're not popular. I was looking everywhere because I just like the look of the circle better. Wow, why am I failing at this? This is the full template, and I followed a video that I need to find again. I need to save it to a playlist, to be totally honest. But making one that's like, I guess, like this. And so I'm going to end up sewing it together this way, long ways, cutting the fabric, sewing it like this up the side, and still quilting it while it's long, and like stuffing it essentially. So then this will go here, and then this will fold over the top, and then we'll put the button in, and we will have the full pack. Instead of me cutting the 8,000 pieces that I did last time, and I just made it a lot. It was a lot. If you hear yelling in the background, my husband is on the phone with his brother, and every time they talk, they are the loudest ever. Ever. Yeah, I'm going to just go ahead and put my headphones on because I have a YouTube video going in the back. I'm going to fix my Silhouette Studio because I've been trying to open it. I realize I haven't been on Silhouette Studio in a while, and I've been trying to open it and it won't open. So I had to go to the website and re-download it again and then I'm just trying to see if it downloads and opens because today is just a full product day. I was going to do my setup today, but I decided to do that on Friday. And Friday is going to just be the day where I don't want to have to make anything. I want to be pretty much done with all the products and everything that I want to bring with me. And so I just want Friday to be admin and market setup. Excuse me. I want it to be the day where I am out in my garage. My cat is like running around the floor like a crazy person. I want it to be out in the garage. I want to set up my tables because I have 3 tables now. I bought a third 6-foot table just so I could have an extra one, to be totally honest. There was a good sale going on. I don't really need 3 tables, but I figured might as well. It's on sale, so I'll get it. And they're never that cheap. It was like $20 or something. So I am going to set that up. I'm going to set my tent up. I'm really excited because I bought a new tent topper. The hot pink was great, and it came with my Facebook Marketplace one that I bought, all of the pink, but I wanted it to be a lighter pink because I think that just kind of matches me a little bit more. I don't really have anything in here that's super hot pink. If I do, it's like a touch of it, but I don't want the whole tent to be. So I bought one that's a lighter pink that I'm really excited about using. I still have my same stretchy tablecloths. I think I already know that I want to change my tablecloths out eventually to just the hanging ones because the look of the stretchy ones is, I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of them as much anymore, or at least get like a runner or fabric or something to put over it to make them a little flowy here and there. Still planning that out, but not for this market. So we're not focusing on that. But that's what I'm going to do on Friday is I'm going to just make sure that everything goes smoothly. So today is going to be full product day. You guys are just going to come along with me while we make products. So let me start laying out this fabric. Let me start cutting around it and cutting around the interfacing and everything like that. And I'm just going to prop you guys up while we do it, or we'll talk while I'm doing it. I don't know, but probably while I'm cutting, at least it's just going to go through as quick as possible. And then I'll come back and check in with you guys in a little bit. Okay, before I get started, I already had a little bit of an issue. Hold on. My video was not paused and I cannot hear a thing. I already had a little bit of an issue, so I realized that. Let me move. I forgot face track is on. Let me turn that off. I forgot that I had pre-cut this fabric a bunch, and it's over here when I was pre-cutting it before because I was like, I know how to make a sleeve, and then after I cut it I decided I wanted a rounded top and I made it so complicated, so I had already cut it into these strips, which, like, yeah, they could work just fine, but it is going to be a little more sewing. So instead of using these for book sleeves, I'm going to use these for like key fobs, make them a little thicker, and do it that way because I just think they're nice. And I already made one the other day, so like it still ended up really cute, this key fob. So I'm going to use them instead for that, those little pieces. But for this, I can't fit the full paper on here because I want the orientation of the fabric to be this way. Word of advice, if you start sewing, don't get too overzealous and start like cutting everything out and doing everything on your own first. You should probably first see what you're going to do and see if you are going to use the fabric and then cut it in the way where it makes more sense for the pattern. So what I'm going to do is I am going to cut this one as well this way, and then because I can fit about 2 panels on each one, I'm going to then put 2 just squares or rectangles cut out. So I'm only cutting the top half, the first page here, and then the semicircle for this. And then the other one will be just on this side, the 2 at the top. And then this extra fabric and things like that, I'll just use for whatever. But this will give me 4 bags. So these will just be made slightly different than the rest of the fabric because I haven't cut the other fabric yet. But the rest of the fabric, I'll make sure I put it in the right orientation so I can cut it out as a whole and actually do the pattern the way that it's supposed to be done. But that's okay. We live and we learn. We are fine. I'm going to get a marker though to trace around this because it's a little easier cut when I just have my my ruler here to measure it out. So yeah, we're gonna just trace around this, and then I will put the other 2 on this side, just a sheet of regular paper, cut it on that side, and then I'll just have to sew a bottom seam on that. But I can still do everything else the same way. Like, I can still do the rest of the pattern the exact same way. I think, for this. I got to see how much of the liner fabric that I have and if I can fit it, because this doesn't matter what the orientation is, it's just pink. I might only have enough of this lining for one, so I might do where two of these are pink and one of them is, or the other two are white, something of that sort. We'll figure it out. That's, guys, pay attention to what you have to do. If anything, I will go grab another one of these from Walmart. Like I said, it's like $3, so I might end up just doing that if I want it to be cohesive. But for right now, we're not going to leave. We're not going to do anything. We're just going to continue. Why did I forget that I had fabric chalk? I can literally just use this on it. Ooh, my brain today. It's gonna be a fun, fun night of me forgetting to use all of the tools that I bought. That's okay, let's just keep going. Let's just get into the day. Okay, so I just got done cutting out the fabric that I wanted, and so this is the lining fabric. This is how the main fabric is supposed to be for this pattern, but I am going to go ahead first before I put these together. I need to sew the bottoms onto these. So I'm going to change out my yarn because I think I want my yarn to, or my yarn, I will say yarn forever. I'm going to change out my thread and my sewing machine because right now it's dark purple, but I think just so that I don't have to keep changing it for every single design that I'm doing, I'm going to change it out to like white because every single thing that I have so far has white in it. So for all of these, they can use white and that's not a big deal. So I'm going to change those out. I'm going to put, like I said, white thread in there, and then I'm going to sew these together, and then I will place them and then put them together as well. What happened? What you got, a cookie? guys, so I just paused my video for a second. I just finished sewing these panels together, and I think honestly, in doing this and not doing it the full, with the full pattern, I actually like this way a little bit better. And the main reason is because I realized while I was going through that if I were to cut this in one full stretch, then when I folded it over, the fabric that's on the front would be a different, like the upside down orientation, and I don't want that. I want it to be the same way, so that this way when it's on the back it's the right side, and then when it's on the front, well, once it's folded here, when it's on the front it is also on the correct way. And the only thing that'll be a little upside down is this top, but that doesn't really bother me too much as long as it just kind of makes sense there. Yeah, I thought it was actually really cute. I like that it goes that way instead. So that was done well, and I wanted to show you guys something that's been actually helping me. So one thing I've noticed with myself in sewing is that I have a shaky hand. Trying to sew in a straight line has been really hard. I did not expect it to be that complicated for me. So I bought these, and I will show that a little bit closer. I don't know if I've showed this before in a video. I might have, but this is a pack from Amazon. When I first knew I was going to start sewing, my mom got me my sewing machine, and she bought me a bunch of stuff, like all of my thread and all of my bobbins and extra needles and all of that. She bought everything for my birthday, so thank you, Mom. It was lovely. But I got a couple of extra things for myself that I knew I was gonna like, and one of them was this. I cannot remember what it's called. I will either put the listing up on the screen, or I will show you. I'll put the actual listing in the description for it so you guys can see. But these are little feet. I need to glue this one in. The magnet comes out every once in a while. But these are little feet that are magnetic. It came in a 2-pack. I don't know how much it was because I bought it forever ago, but it came in a 2-pack, and it has a few different sides. So if you can see, there's this side at the top that has a little bit of a lip underneath. A couple of them have a little lip underneath. So I'm doing horrible at showing this. There you go. So they have little lips on like this side, and there's a tiny lip on that side as well. So if you're trying to curve something, you'll get a little bit of a curve going too. And then on the top of it, it's got like a little ruler. I don't really use that for anything. But this is very nice to place here, especially this flat side here where it's, you know, even. I'm placing this on the side of my machine here, down here. It magnetizes, and I'm putting it right up next to where my foot is at on my machine. And that way, when I put my fabric into the machine, I'm getting a straight line across fully without me having to worry about it getting a little like off or going off to the side. So this has been super helpful, very, very helpful. So now that this is done, I am taking some content too. So you guys can't see it, but I have my phone down here. Let me actually, there we go. You can see I have my phone right here because I am recording for short form content, because I told you guys I suck at that. And so I'm trying to get better at mixing in the short form content with the long form content. Yeah, I'm trying to mix in getting some short form content with long form content so I can really start doing better at posting. But I'm very happy with this. So now what I need to do is I need to lay this out the way that I want it to be on the interior fabric, I believe. I need to look at the video one more time. So as I was saying, I'm going to be taking these that I sewed together now, and I'm going to take this fabric the way that the instructions tell me to do it, because this is a different kind of, I guess, way of doing it, I should say. But it wants me to take this fabric, and then you put it on top of this one, and then you sew around all of the edges first, and you leave a spot open at the bottom. The only thing is, I definitely did bad with these patterns. The lining fabric is actually a lot bigger than it was supposed to be, so it's not matching, and some of the squares ended up a little bigger. I need to get much better at that. So, but you're supposed to line it up like this, and you're supposed to sew all the way around it and leave a little spot open. Then you cut your interfacing and you shove it in. Then you quilt it in one like smooth motion, and then you fold it, sew the sides up, and then you can flip over the top and do the whole thing. So let me actually grab my iPad. I'm going to set it up and watch my video one more time, just keep you guys rolling while I'm doing this. And yeah, let's see let's see if I like the way this bag gets made. Okay, everybody, so I have my sleeve done, but I wanted to show you the video that I am using, which this is I have like a whole sewing tab. It is the how to make a padded laptop sleeve bagu inspired by Maya. I'm going to link this down in the description below because it is very thorough and very good, and it's in my little sewing playlist here. I had to turn my light on because it's getting kind of dark in here. The sun is setting, but this is what it looks like now that it is complete. It is one full just lining here, and I think it looks very nice. I don't know if this is honestly still going to fit my tablet because I keep making things too small, and if not, it could just be a larger sleeve for like a book or something. Oh, it might actually work. It might be like a very snug fit, but that's okay. Yeah, it looks like this. And then what we are supposed to be doing is I left this part open at the bottom like it said, and we are going to be pulling this inside out. You can see a little bit better now that it's up. So we have this here where I sewed it is directly here where I'm going to fold it at, which you can't really tell either. So I like that. It looks really nice. The side is open here as well. That's where we just folded it in and out of. And then this is now the lining on the inside. So I need to get out my interfacing. We're going to cut the interfacing to this side and we're going to shove it inside of here. And then that's when we're going to do the quilting. And you can do the quilting however you want. I think I'm just going to stick to straight lines for right now and really do it like the bagu inspired kind of bags. And maybe when I try some other things to sew, I'll do a different method. But for this right now, I think it's really, really nice. And I now realize this is just going to be a book sleeve. There's no way in the world it's going to fit my tablet in it once it's flipped. So at least I know for the future that I will need to make these a little bit bigger, but yeah, it's probably not going to fit that in there, but that's okay. I wanted just a sleeve. I wanted it to be a little bit bigger. That was the whole point, so we'll leave it, and then when it's folded and it's done and everything, it's going to look like this. Um, the day went by extremely fast. It went from literally like I blinked and I don't even know what time it is now. My phone is right here. It is 8:42. So that's fun. But I am planning on being up pretty late. Like I said, I am trying to be nicer to myself about the fact that I like if I'm a morning person, I'm a morning person, but sometimes I'm not, and that's okay. That's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean that I'm, a horrible person for not being a morning person. I used to be at the beginning of my YouTube channel, so last like July, I think was when I posted my first video. But when I posted my first video last July, you would have seen most of the videos started with me at the gym. And we had just gotten that gym membership. And we were so excited to have a gym close to our house because, like I said, we didn't have anything out here before. And everything that we wanted to go to, like we had like Planet Fitness memberships and things like that, but we had to drive out super far. And that's not, if your gym is not a convenient location to you, you're not going to go. So it was really hard. And I was working in an office at the time that we had our Planet Fitness membership. So I was trying to make it like let me go in the morning before I go into the office. And I did that for a while and it was fine and it worked. But then it just became like on days where, say, there was just like traffic buildup or I woke up a little bit late and it would throw me off and I would try to go after work, but everybody knows you don't have energy after work, and it was just a lot. And then when I started working from home full time, I had to just get myself into a routine because it's very easy to just roll out of bed and start doing things, but it's also very easy to let yourself kind of take a little extra time doing things. And maybe you should be up and maybe you should be sitting at your desk already. And you're like, well, let me just take a shower really quick and things. So I got into a really good routine of getting up super early, going to the gym, getting in a workout, and then coming back and getting myself ready for the day and starting my work day. But that only lasted a little bit. My job got very overwhelming really quick, and it just became a lot. And I knew it was going to be a lot. I had that inkling inside of me with what I was doing that I knew that it was going to be something that took up a lot of my energy. But I used to be very passionate about that industry, my industry, like loved it, amazing, thought it was honestly the best thing ever. And then I don't know. My priorities change. I say that a lot, and I've said it to my therapist. I think it was after COVID specifically, my mind shifted on work and what that meant, and just life in general and what that meant. And it was because a lot of stuff happened during that time. One of my grandfathers unfortunately passed away during COVID. He had a stroke, which is how my other grandfather passed away as well. And it was just kind of a realization that, everyone's not going to be here forever. Life is too short, and I don't want to be miserable while I'm doing it. And I realized how miserable I was just in the daily grind, the 2+ hour commute sometimes from my house and it's because where I live at, they're slowly starting to give us more ways to leave. But the whole reason we moved out here was because it was a little farther out, and also because there wasn't as much, it's not as touristy. If you're in Central Florida, you understand that you either live in a touristy area or you don't. And ours was I've always lived in super touristy areas, like right by Disney World, right by Universal, right by SeaWorld. And I just didn't want to do that anymore and be stuck in that drive and that grind and everything. It was just so much. And so the excitement of moving out this direction. So I'm very grateful. And I'm grateful that we were even able to buy this house because I know the current climate is not making that feasible for a lot of people. But we were very, very lucky at just the time that we bought that we just decided to go ahead and do it. I'm rambling. But yeah, 2020, COVID, all of that just made me realize life is short. You need to do what you want. You need to be happy. And so that's what I started trying to do. And right after that was when I really sat my husband down and said, I'm ready to have children because I want to do this now. And he was not ready yet. We had a lot of conversations around it to try to see what we could do. Oh, cool. This one I don't need to take out and sew, but the other one I do. This one's like perfectly closed. I'm so excited. Once I get this all sewn up and once I get this sewn up, it's going to be great. I just kind of went through this phase of being like, you know what? Life's too short. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be able to do things that I love and that I'm happy with and that just make me happy in general. And so I just started exploring other options. What could I do for work that makes me happy? What could I do at home that makes me happy? I want to have a child, and then struggled to have a child for a while. I have PCOS. I'm very honest and open about it. I've had it since I was 13. It's something I'm used to, but it sucks. Struggled trying to have my son. Had my little miracle baby who fought through everything, even when I was literally dying. He was doing great. He was chilling the entire time. He was born perfectly healthy. I was the one that was struggling with literally everything in my health. Since having him, and since going through like the prenatal and postpartum depression and things like that, and just kind of having everything heightened that I had for years, it just made me realize I want to do things that I love. And one of the things that I love is my small business. I don't need to rush to do things, and I don't need to rush to hit 1,000 subscribers. I don't need to rush to hit certain milestones on social media. I don't need to post every single day if I physically cannot do that. And I can find ways to do that. Maybe that's pre-planning. Maybe that's scheduling content. Maybe that's, just going about things a different way. But I'm taking my time while I'm figuring it out, and I am loving that that is okay. You're allowed to do that. All right, I'll get off my high horse, my little ramble about life and existential crisis. I'm going to... I don't want to take the fluff back out of this. It just took me forever to shove in, but I am, because there's like 3 or 4 holes in it, and I don't want to have to hand sew all of that. So I'm going to take the fluff part out of this one so I can sew. You guys can see like it popped out here. It was just a little too close to the seam. This one as well. That's probably my fault. I trimmed the fabric, and I might have trimmed these a little too close to the sew. I should have left a little extra on the inside, but I'm going to take these out. I'm going to do one more, probably sew all around the outside of this, and then I'll put the stuff back into it. This one is perfectly fine. Like I said, I am going to have to hand sew a little bit more, but that'll give me plenty of practice for this invisible stitch that I need to look up still in the video. I don't remember what it's called. I'll tell you when I watch it, but I'm going to take out my little sewing kit here, and I will hand stitch the sides of this. And then once I'm done, I will come back and check in with you all when we're about to start quilting. Hey everyone, popping on here really quick. Sorry, there's a glare on my glasses from the light in my room. It's a little dark right now, but I just finished quilting one of them. And you guys are gonna literally say, Ashley, why do you keep doing this? Because I think I'm gonna change the way I do these again. I keep pausing. It is like midnight now, so that's really fun. We've just been doing this all day, and I've been having a great time, so do not get me wrong. I have not been upset about this taking forever, but I kept having to stop today. My son would not let me go for a while, so he's asleep. He's calm now, and yeah, so this actually, I quilted it just in straight lines, and then for this tutorial specifically, it said after you quilt it that she just sewed directly around the sides. And I don't know. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna like the look of it being kind of like, I mean, I guess I'm just gonna sew it as close as possible to the edge. I like ripped this open, but I did learn today from how I had to close the side, this side, and a couple other sides, how to do an invisible like stitch. So I think they turned out really well, but I've learned a lot so far. These are also going to be like just large book Kindle e-reader sleeves. If you have like a small tablet, sure, but it's not going to be an actual tablet because just with the pattern, the way this went, it fit perfectly at the beginning. I should have added a little bit more allowance to my fabric, and I did not. And so because of that, I had like enough space on the outside, and then as I kept sewing I kind of forget that things get smaller even though I was sewing pretty close to the edge. I'm very happy with my sewing skills on this. I think it looks really good. One of the things I also saw with the quilting, so like up here it doesn't look terrible when you see it at this side, but then on the inside I don't like how it's like kind of like bunching in weird places, and I know that's kind of the whole point of quilting, but I like this little like fold, and I feel like you can see it on the front and it just bothers me. And again, perfectionism. So I am going to do an invisible stitch really quick on this part that's open, and then I'm going to sew around the sides of this, because I guess that's all you have to do is just sew it up. So yeah, I'm going to sew around the sides. I'm trying to think, do I want to make it even a little smaller by doing it? Because I don't know if that's going to look good with these on the inside. I think it'll just look better like this. So yeah, I'm going to do it exactly like the tutorial, and I'm just going to sew it on the outside. It's like a super simple, you don't really need anything to get it done, like sewing project, especially this style. I think it's very easy, and I think this is great if you're trying to practice sewing because it's not too much like cutting and piecing and everything else. It really just kind of gets you confident in sewing straight, sewing, you know, curved, everything else before you get going. And then I'll wipe it off. I also found that I had a spare piece of interface and I was trying to wipe off the chalk line. Works great as like an eraser for this chalk. So yeah, let me sew this, and then I will put this flat. I'm going to pin it. I'm going to sew on the sides really tightly. Hopefully that works the way that I want it to, and we'll just try to get it as close together as possible so that it's just a cute little bag. Because I think if I do it really close to the edge, like that edging could look cute if it's like that. I don't know, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see what we do, and yeah, I'll check back in with you guys when I'm done, and then I'll put a little button on it to close it, and we will show off a fun product. actually, I'm so silly because I really did at first. I thought I was not going to like it, and I was really fighting following the exact instructions. I still am not super happy with the way like the top came out and stuff, but that's all things that come with learning. But I do really think this is cute. I'm gonna go ahead and put on the snap closure, just to make sure that this is even and really nice. And then after that, I think I might end up calling it a night. I am so tired. um, I I told you guys already this. It's been a really long day, like just an extremely long day. And yeah, that just I'm drained. I'm absolutely drained. Oh yeah, the blue's cute, so we'll do a blue. I'm really bad at just kind of veering off and doing my own thing instead of actually just like listening to what needs to get done or what should get done in the moment, or following the actual pattern for something. I'm just always like, you know what, I'm not going to like it. Like, actually, you got to give things a chance first, and then maybe you can see if you don't like it. Like, that would be really helpful. And now it has a little button snap. It's so cute. So here's a real test. Let me grab my iPad and see if it fits. If it doesn't, like I said, these are definitely going to be just book sleeves, large book sleeves, you know, for you to put things in. So let me double check really quick. Let me grab that. Let's see. Will it fit? No, not with my case. It will not fit. So again, book sleeves. That's fine. So let's use a couple of different size books that I have down here. I'm going to donate this ACOTAR book to my local library because no, I don't want to read it. I just don't like it. But ACOTAR, for example, oh, perfectly. And then you snap it closed. Oh, and you still have a good amount of little space on the side. You could probably fit something else in here with it, but these are just too cute. I actually really like this a lot. Like, a lot more than I thought I would. I do have some little like loose ends here that I need to just trim that I keep seeing. So let me do that really quick. I am going to make these, even if I do the same pattern, which I actually, the more that I look at it, the more I like this pattern. I know I said I was going to try something different, but I actually do really like this pattern. But I don't like the seam lines and stuff. So yeah, I think I am going to sew the interfacing first, then just sew and sew the lining on and then pull it inside out. And so that way it's maybe not as, those button snaps are actually really good. They are new. So, but yeah, maybe that. I do like though that it shows up on the inside. I just have to figure out how to get it to not do this like curvy thing that it's doing. If that is not a big deal, please let me know. I really need to know whether this is just me being in my head or if it's not. But yeah, I'm going to sit here for a little bit and probably figure out what the actual plan is that I want to do next, but I am going to just sew this next book sleeve so I have these two done. And then once I figure out what I want to do, I'm just going to spend the rest of the night cutting fabric and getting everything ready and laid out so that I can just do a straight sew tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday, so we are getting closer, and that is my husband's day, but I already know kind of my plan for the day. I'm going to take my son out of the house for most of the day tomorrow. He was just having such a rough day today. I want to spend as much time outside as possible. We're probably going to go back to the park, go run around, play a bit. I might actually take him to SeaWorld for a bit and just let him have a great time there. And then when I come home, I know he'll be ready for a nap or something. So I'll give him a nap, and while he's napping, I'm just going to continue sewing. And then hopefully I can get him into bed a little earlier because he is very off with his sleep, but that's just how he is. He sleeps through the night once he is asleep. But he is a kid that there are some weeks where we have a great week and he is doing great regardless of what time he woke up. Maybe he'll fall asleep by like 8 o'clock. 8 is like the earliest we ever get, and that's fine with me. But most nights, my son is not falling asleep. Even if he's in his bed, he's not falling asleep until probably closer to midnight. He's just always up. He's got so much energy, and he's just ready to bounce everywhere. It does not matter what we do, what we've changed. We've tried every routine under the sun. It is currently, I don't even know what time it is actually. I have my phone right here. What time is it? It's 2 a.m. So, yeah, I'm gonna head to bed. I'm just gonna sit and do some research. I will finish everything in the morning, actually. I'm probably just gonna head to bed tonight, and then I'm gonna try to get up a little bit earlier than he does so that I can just kind of keep sewing and keep going. And I will check in with you all a bit tomorrow before I end out this vlog.